Let's stick with the markets now and say hello to Eva Ados. She is COO of ER Shares. Eva, so you've been listening to what Jared's been talking about with the cryptocurrencies sort of going crazy. We had Coinbase, the direct listing this week, sort of all over the place, lots of volatility. Do you think that this has signaled to traders that the speculative trade is back on, that it's okay to take on a little more risk?
Yes, we definitely see a correlation there when it comes to the risk appetite. We saw Coinbase being the biggest DPO, direct public offering in the history, much bigger than Roblox or Slack or Palantir. And what's interesting to say is that the first 10 minutes of its trading, it reached $105 billion of market capitalization. To put that into perspective, that's 4 times the NASDAQ and 1.5 times the NYSE. And at the end of the day, it was worth the same as NYSE and NASDAQ combined. And let's not forget, Coinbase is also an exchange, and you can only trade 50 cryptocurrencies through that, mostly Bitcoin and Ether. And it was able to have such an extraordinary growth trajectory, and the stock did great. So we are very excited to see that's a great entrepreneurial growth story.
So Eva, some of these growth names are pretty expensive. You just highlighted Coinbase, up over $300 for one share. If you are looking to some of those high-flying names, perhaps even outside of crypto, where are you seeing some growth, or some opportunities rather, among some of those growth names?
So we think there's going to be a transition, and we're going to see, if everything remains equal, as economists say, Ceteris Paribus, if the conditions that we're seeing now remain equal, which means that we have the Fed support, we have good earnings announcements, lower numbers of unemployment, pent-up demand, vaccination that works with mutations, and the interest rates remain calm. If things remain like this, we think we're going to see tech coming back strong. We have, and that of course always starts with the least risky category when it comes to tech. And in that case was the FANGs, and the FANGs are up about 10% month to date across the board. Then that's going to move to hyper growth companies with earnings such as Square or Roku. And then of course the most risky category with hyper growth tech companies with no earnings, such as Cloudflare, for example. And then that can move, of course, to emerging markets. We saw China today reporting 18% growth on that quarter. And of course, China has 10 days now continuously with no COVID cases. So there might be potential there down the road as we get into the summer. And of course, small caps will follow the lead too.
What do you make of the activity we're seeing in the bond market and how yields are now starting to come down? And, we had the yield on the 10-year Treasury above 1.64% last week. It's come down quite a bit. What do you think is causing that? And do you think rates have stabilized for the time being?
We think that rates shot up a lot, and maybe overshot actually. So now they're coming down. We think this will continue, and we had the Fed support. People relate the interest rates to inflation. We're not very concerned about inflation at this moment. Of course, as we get closer to the year end, that's of a bigger concern. But at this moment, we don't think it's a big concern, as long as we have the Fed support. And let's not forget that we just got the stimulus. So having the stimulus and on the other side increasing rates would be contradictory. We had the stimulus to stimulate the economy. Rising interest rates it works reverse in the reverse way. So we think as of now, there are blue skies ahead. It's a great time to be an investor, but we should have our eyes open when it comes to new mutations, and of course, when it comes to have our eyes on the interest rates. And having said that, we think it's not a good time to be in the fixed income space. So we are seeing flows out of fixed income into the equity market. We are also seeing a record number of retail accounts opening up when it comes to Robinhood and Schwab, for example. And there are more retail investors now, especially millennial, coming after tech stocks. So that's also a driver when it comes to tech stocks. And of course, the growth names that millennials love, the ones that have great stories behind, great entrepreneurs. And then that's also going to fuel money into the marketplace.
All right, Eva Ados of ER Shares, thanks so much.